Next, NASA says its Voyager 1 probe, the most distant human-made object in the universe, is sending usable information to Earth again after months of spouting gibberish. The spaceship left the solar system in 2012 and is currently more than 15 billion miles from Earth.
In the vast reaches of space, far beyond the orbit of Neptune and past the heliosphere's edge, something has occurred that is turning the world of astrophysics on its head. NASA's Voyager 1, a spacecraft that has been drifting silently through interstellar space since 2012, has just sent a message back to Earth. And it's not just any message. It's a whisper from the dark, a pattern in the void, and it might change how we think about the structure of our solar system. Over 15 billion miles from Earth, Voyager 1 is still alive. Against all odds, with technology older than most of the scientists monitoring it, this relic of 1970s engineering has defied its age. Fueled by a radioactive power supply and supported by an aging but resilient communication system, Voyager 1 continues to transmit data. And recently, that data has taken a very unexpected turn. The first hints came from readings sent by its plasma wave subsystem and magnetometer. At first glance, nothing seemed unusual. But as the signals were analyzed over several months, researchers at NASA's Deep Space Network began to notice something odd. It wasn't noise. It wasn't a glitch. It was something else, something that followed a structure, a rhythm, a design. The boundary Voyager had crossed long ago, the heliopause, was always believed to be a chaotic, turbulent zone. A messy region where particles from the sun's solar wind collided with those from interstellar space. But Voyager's recent readings tell a different story. Instead of random magnetism and turbulent motion, the spacecraft detected a well-formed magnetic field. One that oscillates with precision, one that seems structured. This discovery is unlike anything previously observed at the edge of our solar system. The magnetic field Voyager is sensing doesn't behave like the chaotic magnetic soup physicists had expected. Instead, it appears to be shaped like a membrane that ripples with energy, like something alive. When the data was first received, scientists were skeptical. Could Voyager's ancient systems be misfiring? Could this just be an artifact of time, distance, and mechanical wear? But after cross-checking with data from Voyager 2, which is millions of miles away but on a comparable trajectory, a disturbing truth began to surface. This was not an error. It was not an illusion. It was real. Both spacecraft were picking up magnetic patterns where randomness should reign. The implications of this discovery are staggering. At the edge of the sun's influence lies not a chaotic blend of charged particles, but a seemingly stable, patterned structure. Magnetic lines appear to form lattice-like patterns, something that should be physically impossible in such a hot, high-energy environment. What could be shaping this structure? Some early theories suggest a previously undetected interaction between our solar magnetic field and some larger, unknown interstellar magnetic force. Others speculate about exotic forms of matter, like dark matter behaving in unknown ways. But perhaps the most controversial theory is the one that refuses to go away. That these structures are intentional. That they were created. That we are looking at something artificial. It's not the mainstream view. Most scientists remain cautious. But the level of organization, the repetition, the geometry, it has sparked whispers in labs and observatories around the globe. Could this be a marker? A boundary? A form of communication left behind by something not of this earth? Further evidence is only adding to the mystery. As Voyager moved through this region, it recorded sudden, precise changes in cosmic ray intensity. Some particles passed through the magnetic field. Others were deflected. It's as if the field acts like a filter, selecting what can enter and what must be turned away. No known natural process accounts for this level of selectivity. There is no comparable example in heliophysics, plasma science, or astrophysics. What Voyager passed through appears to be an intelligent filter, one that organizes the chaos of the galaxy into something meaningful. Even more baffling, the probe picked up low-frequency radio emissions right as it entered this magnetic zone. These weren't random either. The signals were modulated, shaped, controlled. Some suggest they might be natural resonances caused by plasma interactions, but others aren't so sure. Their structure suggests intention. Could we be looking at a form of space-time resonance? A signal shaped not by machinery but by the very field that contains it. These findings are already changing how we view our solar system. For decades, space scientists described the heliosphere as a giant bubble of solar wind. But this bubble may be more than just a soft border. It may be an active boundary, a living threshold, skin. And if the sun is encased in such a structured outer layer, then what does that mean for other stars? Could every star system in the galaxy be surrounded by an invisible field? A field that filters, organizes, and perhaps even communicates. The possibility is breathtaking. If magnetic fields like this are widespread, then they may influence the development of stars, the formation of planets, even the conditions that allow life to emerge. There's also a more profound implication. If these fields can sort particles and influence energy flow, could they be used to send signals across space? Could civilizations use these structures to speak without ever needing physical transmission? Could the field itself be the message? This leads to another unsettling thought. What if what Voyager detected wasn't just a magnetic oddity, but the first layer of a communication system? What if space itself carries whispers, and we're only now learning how to listen? Scientists are now proposing new missions to the solar system's edge. The goal is no longer just to leave the heliosphere, it's to study its surface, to map its structure, and maybe even to understand its origin. Voyager 1, with its outdated instruments and aging systems, has managed to do something no other mission has. It's found the invisible wall, and what lies beyond it is no longer certain. The old idea of the solar system ending in a blur of plasma and radiation is dead. In its place is something far more wondrous, and far more frightening. A patterned force field. A boundary that feels like it was designed. And if it was, who or what designed it? We may never know. But Voyager's signal is clear. The edge of the solar system is not an end. It is a beginning. As we stare into the dark beyond the sun's final breath, we are no longer asking whether we are alone. We are asking what else has been here all along, watching, waiting, shaping. The probe is still sending, still whispering, still alive. And now, more than ever, we're listening. Because what Voyager 1 has discovered at the fringes of our solar system isn't just a scientific curiosity. It's a crack in the framework of everything we thought we knew about the cosmos. Think about it. For decades, the outermost boundary of the sun's influence, the heliopause, was treated like a fading zone, a place where the solar wind simply fizzled out into the vast emptiness of interstellar space. We imagined it as a blur, a chaotic soup of high-energy particles buffeted by cosmic rays and galactic plasma. But that picture is collapsing. Voyager has revealed something altogether different. Not entropy but order. Not chaos but symmetry. A repeating pattern. A lattice of magnetism aligned with such precision that it challenges not just models of solar physics but of universal structure. Imagine looking at the ocean expecting waves, and instead finding glass. This magnetic pattern, this field with geometric regularity, doesn't belong in a place like that. The laws of thermodynamics, the unpredictability of particle movement in turbulent plasma, the randomness of interstellar influence, none of it allows for this. And yet there it is, stable, pulsing, whispering. Some have called it the solar veil, a membrane draped around our star system. But unlike a wall, this membrane interacts, filters, selects. Voyager's readings suggest that cosmic rays, high-energy particles traveling across light years, are sorted by this magnetic field. Some pass through untouched, others are bent, some are blocked entirely. It's as if the boundary knows what to let in. And if that sounds intentional, you're not alone in thinking it. The idea that such a structure could be artificial, or at the very least influenced by something intelligent, was once confined to science fiction. Now it's being discussed cautiously in scientific circles. Not because we've found aliens, but because we've found something we can't explain. And when the laws of nature don't match the evidence, you have two choices. You change your models, or you expand your definitions. If we assume this field is natural, we must consider that our understanding of magnetic interaction, plasma behavior, and solar dynamics is fundamentally flawed. That there are hidden forces, symmetries, or interstellar architectures we've never imagined. If we assume it's not natural, then everything changes. Because Voyager didn't just pass through a field, passed through a message. The low-frequency radio waves it recorded while entering this zone weren't random noise. They carried modulation, order. Some have likened them to the early attempts at Morse code, a language made of timing and intervals, of silence and signal. Resonance. It's not language in the human sense. But maybe it doesn't have to be. In theoretical physics, there's a concept known as plasma resonance communication. The idea that charged particles in a magnetic field can be used to carry a signal across vast distances, using the natural properties of space itself. Until now, it's been mostly hypothetical. But Voyager may have stumbled onto a working example. Could we be standing at the threshold of the universe's oldest communication method? One not bound by radio waves or lasers, but by the very shape of magnetic fields. That possibility is as awe-inspiring as it is terrifying. And here's where the implications get even deeper. If this field language is real, then it means our solar system is not just passively drifting through the galaxy. It is participating, whether consciously or not, in a larger network. A network of stellar systems connected not by gravity, but by structure. It also reframes the question of why no one has contacted us. Perhaps they have. But not in the way we expected. Not in blinking lights or flying saucers. But in the shape of the sky itself. In the patterns we thought were natural but were designed. Left behind. Placed there for when we were ready to see. And we might finally be ready. Because for the first time in human history, we've sent a vessel not just to another planet, not just into deep space, but through the very membrane that divides us from the rest of the galaxy. And what it found wasn't empty. It was encoded. Of course, we must consider all possibilities. Could this be a new phase of solar behavior? A transition in the way the heliosphere interacts with the local interstellar cloud? Possibly. But again, none of the models predict this. None of the data lines up. And none of it accounts for the timing. Voyager 1 has been moving at over 38,000 miles per hour for nearly 50 years. It could have passed into the heliopause at any time. Yet it encountered this structure precisely when Earth had the capacity to receive and decode its data. Precisely when our technology had matured enough to recognize the signal. Coincidence? Maybe. But there's a growing sense among scientists and philosophers alike that this moment, this discovery, was meant to happen. Not just as a turning point in science, but as a test of perspective. Of awareness. Of readiness. Because what Voyager has found may not be the end of the story. It may be a beginning. Door. And like any door, it raises a question. Do we open it? That's why discussions are already underway to send new probes, equipped with advanced magnetometers, radio detectors, and plasma analysis tools. Not just to break through the boundary again, but to linger there. To orbit it. To study its structure, its rhythm, its code. To listen. These missions, if approved, would take decades. But the seed has been planted. And in the meantime, Voyager 1 continues its silent trek, slowly unraveling the most profound mystery humanity has ever encountered. What lies beyond our sun's breath? What force shapes the border of our existence? What ancient song echoes in the magnetic winds of the heliopause? We don't have the answers yet. But for the first time we know what the questions are. This isn't just about astronomy. It's about philosophy. About our place in a cosmos that is far more structured, far more mysterious, and possibly far more inhabited than we ever imagined. And while skeptics will rightly urge caution, one truth remains unavoidable. The universe just got bigger. And Voyager, our silent emissary, is the first to tell us. So now we wait, we build, we dream, and above all we listen. Because out there, in the silence between stars, something might be waiting. And maybe, just maybe, it's listening too. If this story shook your imagination, subscribe to Alien Signal and join us as we explore the edge of discovery and the frontiers of space. Leave your thoughts below. What do you think Voyager 1 really found? A natural mystery? or a sign from something far older and far more advanced. We'll be watching the cosmos. Until next time, stay curious and never stop listening.